I hate to break the fishing news after Chuck, but I'd like to speak about the ice hockey.
Congratulations, you're one of the 13 listeners of the Real Life Podcast.
We just traded a migraine in for like an orgasm.
Might want to mark that down.
Yep.
All of my projects are on schedule until they're not.
A member of the Nation Network of Podcasts.
About as funny as we're going to get today.
Welcome in. It's working this time. Take 2, episode 224 of the Real Life Podcast. I'm Tyler Uremchuk. The first time I hit record didn't work, but the second time it did. Welcome in. This podcast, as always, brought to you by Oodle Noodle. 10% of all in-store proceeds go towards a local charity because not only do they care about solving your hunger, they care about making the community around them better. That's the Oodle Noodle promise, and not like that nonsense you get over at Noodle King. Yeah.
Take that, Noodle King.
That's bagged milk.
Poison at Noodle King.
That's Wanye.
They actually take money from Charity Weekly.
That's
Their
Jay.
fried rice is actually rat poison.
Yep.
And I don't know if this is a mirage, if this is fake, but I believe in the bottom left-hand corner of my screen is one Chalmers. Hello.
Hello.
Did you just hear that we were doing this twice a week for the last 8 weeks?
I'm sorry, boys. Yeah, I'm here. I've been wanting to.
What I respect, Chalmers, is that every day you intend to be on the show. I believe you wake up in the morning intending to come on the show.
I swear to God, I fully intend every single time we tape this to be on the show.
And over the course of the day, a different reason emerges that's valid. In every event, I'm like, no, that's fair. That's fine.
And at least 5 times in the hour before taping, I try to figure out a way to not have to do what I'm doing and get in my truck and be with you guys. And it just hasn't been working out lately. I've been extremely busy. It's a weird time.
Make money. Who cares?
I'm happy to hear you're busy, Chalmers. That's a good thing.
Yes.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And it's just like this winter is shaping up to be very, very busy in construction, which is, it's nice. But yeah, when a problem arises at 12:30 on a fucking Monday, it breaks my heart not to be able to come on, man.
Can I throw you this question, Chalmers? I had this debate on the radio like 3, 4, or 5 months ago. It was a long time ago. You, as a guy who you work a lot like outside, right? Like or I suppose you're a lot inside, but like running out to the truck and things like that. Would you rather be working in -30 or +30?
Whoa, that's a good question. You know what? +30. I think I could deal with the sweatiness and the heat of +30, the exhaustion, drinking lots of water, than -30. Because in the past couple of days, like just to be outside and just simply unloading a bunch of material for somebody, my hands and stuff and my toes are getting frozen. If you're out, it's. I think I could do +30 a lot better than -30.
Counterpoint. I think the question needs to change because the difference between +30 and -30, like the +30 isn't as severe as what -30 is in cold.
So +30 or -20?
I would do like I would do like +50 or -30.
Well,
either way, you're
like
going to die very
Dubai.
quickly.
Would you rather do a construction project in the teeth of winter, those like 2 days a year where the coldest place on the planet, or would you want to be in Dubai in 50-degree heat? Where everything is melting.
The only way you survive is if you pick the cold one, because at least you'll layer up and all that stuff. And when I floated that question out, I was actually surprised, and I'd imagine there's a good chunk of our listeners who work outside. I was surprised at the amount of people who said they'd rather have -20 with no wind or -30 with no wind versus +30, and they just said, listen, you can always take layers off. You always get warmer as you work, kind of thing. Whereas in +30, if you're hot and sweaty and the air is hot to breathe in and all that, like, it's not getting better.
Plus,
but I also assume, like, construction workers, like, if they're on the job and it's real hot, they'll do, like, a midday wet T-shirt contest type scenario where I've seen videos like that with the cut-off jean shorts and whatever. So I assume there's also sexiness involved in the summer.
Break open the fire hydrant. And
plus, too, if you're in a hot climate where it's relatively hot all year round, you're dealing with, like, Sam Brown, our buddy in Brisbane. His stories of construction are like, I was building a shed and there was a king cobra. I was doing a bathroom reno and there was a giant scorpion. I was fixing someone's kitchen and there was a tarantula nest. Like, you have none of that shit to worry about if you live in a cold climate.
Yeah.
True. No, the one thing is, I mean, both are going to have their restraints. if you have a ton of layers on, you move so slow because you're so uncomfortable. If you have, but it's the same thing if you're super hot and you're sweaty and you're uncomfortable. The fact is in the cold, your hands and feet are going to take a bigger beating than in the hot.
That's
the
fair.
rest of the body on a whole. Like the hot, the worst you could have is like get some sunstroke, right? But in cold, the worst you get is like severe frostbite on your feet, your hands and your nose and stuff. And I don't know.
Chalmers, I feel like you'd be proud of me that my hose has been disconnected from the house and brought inside.
Yeah. It was. I do this yearly thing for my friends and all my family and all on groups. When I realize that it's about to freeze for the first time, because I've seen it so many times in the spring, where I get probably 5 to 10 phone calls from people that I know and that I don't know about the fact that their basement flooded the very first time they used their sprinklers. So what I do every time it's about to freeze is I know it's not habit for people to unscrew their hoses from their hose bib. So I tell them, I say, time of the year to take your hose off. Because what happens is you got about a 1 foot frost-free hose bib where when you turn the faucet off, usually the ball valve is right at the front of the faucet. But in a frost-free hose bib, it's a foot inside the house in the warm area, and then it's usually back graded so the water will come out the front. And therefore, you don't get freezing in the metal line. But when you keep your hose attached to the hose bib, the water traps in there. The pressure traps the water in there, and it breaks. And it's great for business. I mean, I get a lot of work in the springtime over redoing people's basements. But man, to see what one simple little thing can do to people's lives for like 3 months in the spring, that they have to redo their basement and move all their stuff, and it's such a silly little task that most people just don't know about.
So they didn't do it, Chalmers. What do you recommend they do? They just go right now, go unplug your hose?
If you haven't taken off your hose bib by now, get it the fuck off. And I doubt that much damage will have happened yet, but the potential is there. It's been pretty cold. Now, what you need to realize is that when that will not create a flood in your basement until you run that hose bib, because where it's going to freeze and blow the metal line is in front of the valve. So the water is not active at that spot. So if you turn on your hose and you hear the pressure coming out, you see the water coming out, and that's when it's going to start to flood in your basement. And it will, the very first sign of it is you'll go downstairs, and if you have carpet, you'll see under the baseboard, you'll start to see water, or your carpet will be wet to the touch. And so, hose bibs are designed so that when you unscrew them from the outside, they put enough slack on those lines that you could pull it out like a good foot and inspect the actual frost-free area of it. And so, it's just, if your hose bib is frozen right now because of this year, it's not going to create you any problems until you run that hose. And you can use your hose in the wintertime. I've had a lot of people call me and ask me, I know you say to undo your hose, but can I use my hose in the winter? Well, absolutely. You can use your hose. As long as there's active water going through there, it's not going to freeze. But if you turn your hose off and then go inside after flooding your outdoor rink and you leave it attached, you're going to have a problem.
Interesting.
Do you build a rink for your kid?
Buddy, I do.
We talked about this with Sam Gagne.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So this year...
Number 89, Bag Milk, perhaps you remember?
Former captain of the Edmonton Oilers, yes.
You son of a bitch.
And the son of entrepreneur who made, I think it was nicerinks.com or something. Anyways, we talked about our outdoor rinks, but last year I couldn't have one because I just freshly landscaped the new house that I moved into, and so I didn't want to ruin the grass. But this year, it's been kind of interesting because it's early. This is early. Middle of October is not when you should be having freezing temperatures and snow. And so what happened was I wasn't ready for it, but my friend, he gave me all these brackets. He's like, dude, you're going to do an outdoor rink? Have these brackets that plywood slips into. And I've got myself a 50 by 26 outdoor rink in the back. And it's now, and then I put the liner in. I built the whole thing in a day. It was easy. I put the liner in, and then I ran my hose 20 hours, and I'm like, half full. So I'm gonna let that freeze first, and then finish up the rest. It's
So-
like it's my fun time at night.
Are you
So
gonna
when
have,
are you inviting us over for a little bit of shitting?
are we gonna do maybe a mini 3-on-3 game, like a real life cup?
I'd love it. So like what? Yeah, and I'm setting up my backyard because my kids like they have friends that are in their class that they play hockey with, and it's kind of their cohort. And there's just a lack of stuff you can do. You're not going over to a lot of friends. After school every day, they're like, we just want to come home and play hockey. And so I'm setting up the backyard where these kids can like there is going to be a fire, like we got a fire pit there right beside it. I wanted to build like lockers in my garage, but I'm in construction. I don't have a shop anymore, so I've got a lot of stuff in there. But yeah, you guys are more than welcome. But it's going to be with the weather. Like I'm surprised if what I did 3 days ago is even frozen full, and it's going to take and then it's supposed to get nice again. So
Yeah.
Probably not even going to be ready till like the middle of November, to be honest with you.
You're gonna come home one day and you're gonna look and be like, oh, the kids are in the backyard playing hockey, and then it'll be me and bagged milk running the show.
Yeah,
Hey,
we're doing some drills.
My gate's easy to open, and I'll give you my address. Go over there and play hockey anytime you want. And I maintain a rink like nobody else. I go out there at night specifically to have half an hour to myself, just to scrape it off with my metal shovel. I'm even going to make myself one of these little Zambonis that you can make, which is like you put a hose attachment to a bunch of PVC pipe, and you just basically create like a big mop with like a little like a towel at the very back of it. You drill holes in it, and then as you run the water through it, you just sweep the ice with it, and it floods the ice. It's a nice little Zamboni.
Remember, it's not a Zamboni; it's an ice resurfacing machine. The company Zamboni got super fucking pissed on Twitter the other day because did you see the video of the Zamboni on fire and still cleaning the ice?
Oh yeah.
So everyone was like, "Oh my god, the Zamboni's on fire!" And the company released a thing being like, "That is not a Zamboni in the video. That is an ice resurfacing machine. That is not one of our products." They hate it.
They're in the Kleenex situation. You know what I mean?
They are 100%.
Zamboni is just synonymous with ice clearing, whatever the fuck they're called.
And rollerblades.
Rollerblades too.
Rollerblades is a brand.
Sea-Doos.
Rollerblades is a brand?
Yeah, it's
That's
called
exactly-
inline skate.
Oh.
That's
no
exactly
shit,
the
eh?
point, Tyler.
No shit. I feel like
You've been
Zamboni's
duped.
not in a position to complain about that because you get so much essential free advertising from just being
Well, it would
the-
appear as though your machine still works whilst on fire.
Yeah. If
Yeah.
anything, that's a selling point.
even
Can I
in case
quickly-
of emergency.
You
Can I
want to buy
quickly
yourself an Olympia ice surfacing machine? Do you think you could do this?
Do you?
Can I quickly just get mad about something?
Yep.
Yeah,
I am
absolutely.
getting sick and fucking tired of 7-Eleven changing shit at their stores.
Go on.
So first, they changed my pizzas to those small pizzas, and now I refuse to eat pizza from there because
And they won't sell
don't
you
know how
the
to
one that
cook
you
it.
want.
Yeah.
Exactly. So Slurpees, let's be honest, probably top Slurpee or 7-Eleven Slurpee's probably top in the game.
Great.
Max is pretty good, Circle K now, but 7-Eleven's always had the superiority. But the plastic straws, they went to paper straws, okay? And they had paper straws that were actually like Slurpee straws. But they stopped using them. And now I'm using a paper straw that after about 30 minutes in my Slurpee has become a paper mess. It has broken. I can't stir my Slurpee. I'm staring at half of a Slurpee. I can't even drink right now because when I tried to stir it, the straw broke in half.
We need
What
to
the
get
fuck?
you. We need to get you some metal straws for that truck.
But
Oh, metal straws
here's
suck.
the thing. Don't get me
No, I
started
agree.
on metal straws. Metal straws, when you're drinking a Slurpee out of a metal straw, do you have any idea the cold, your mouth sticks to it sometimes because the straw gets so damn cold, and then it's like sticking your tongue on a fucking fence post.
You just got to have your own plastic straw that you
Who's got
reuse.
time to go
as long
buy
as
their
you
own
promise
plastic
to
straw?
reuse it.
Yeah. Think of the turtles, Chalmers.
Yeah, but
I believe 7-Eleven does
Not
a
a
lot of
Matthew Kachuk 10.
I believe they do a lot of local advertising. We should get a sales guy, Jared, to reach out to 7-Eleven and maybe we can do some sort of thing with them where every week Chalmers comes on and talks about his 7-Eleven experience. Maybe he tries a new product. I think that'd be a great bit.
You think No, it should be Circle K that does it because he slammed 7-Eleven.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Do you know why people go to Costco and get the hot dog? Because it's consistent. It's always the goddamn same thing.
And it's $1.
I go to
Hell of a bargain,
7-Eleven,
too.
I just want the same thing. Just give me the same thing.
Did you ever
all the time?
Bag Milk, I'm sure you got tagged in this, but there was that news article going around Twitter when it was like the one CEO of Costco, when like the new guy was like, we lose money on our hot dogs. We need to change the price of them.
Yeah.
And the old CEO was like, if you change the price of those hot dogs, I will fucking kill you. And he like says it like that. And it's like, holy shit.
It's the best. I mean, like $1.50, you get a hot dog and a drink. It's a superior combo.
It is.
Yeah, I don't remember where
Fantastic.
I heard that, but he was like adamant that he's like, you change that one thing. And he actually said, I will kill you.
Yeah.
the guy's like, whoa. He's like, I don't care.
Speaking of tremendous value, you can get tremendous value over with our friends at Twig and Berries by using the promo code NATION15. I know it's October, but the weather's getting cold. You're starting to think, hey, Christmas shopping is coming. That special, you know, maybe it's a husband, a boyfriend. Maybe you're just trying to do something nice for your dad or your brother. Get them some clothing and apparel from Twig and Berries. They even got their own line of underwear called Nutsack Underwear. The name is hilarious. They fit great, and you can save 15% when you use the promo code NATION15.
Also, Tyler, I'm looking on twigandberries.ca right now. You can get yourself, you know, it's getting a little chilly here in the city of Champions. They got some flannel there. They've got hoodies up. There's lots going on over from our friends at Twig and Berries.
They're a busy group. Busy group. All right. You know what? I love how Chalmers comes in, and the first almost 20 minutes of this podcast just fucking flies by. Like, you're just loaded.
Here, I'll make the next 5 minutes fly by. I saw a video on Facebook. I never go on Facebook, but I saw a video on Facebook.
And
what kind of video?
And Wanye?
Oh, you want to talk about that video?
That video. I haven't seen you or talked to you since I saw this video.
Well. Isn't this going to be an interesting conversation?
If you don't want to talk about it, we can steer clear.
No.
I figured if you made a video where you acted in it with a mask on it, then you're kind of sticking your head out of the bear's den here, aren't you?
So here's what's weird about that video. So I have a Wanye phone. It's my old iPhone, and I cannot for the life of me retrieve my Instagram Wanye password. So this phone basically has to live forever, or Wanye Insta. I don't even know what I'm going to have to do to get it back. As we've seen in the last 12 months, Instas go away. It's bad.
Couldn't you just click forget password?
But the email address it goes to is no longer.
Oh.
So I dropped this video on Facebook announcing a momentous life event. Then I go to Insta to upload it and literally cannot get a movie that's 2 minutes long to upload to my Instagram. Then I get super frustrated. Then somebody else from my past life does a big life announcement, and then I lost all my momentum, and I still have to get this video up. So talking about this is a marvelous way to force me to figure out how to get this out on Facebook.
I'm glad I can be that pressure. Anyways, congratulations, my man.
Thank you. I had a son.
Yes, you did.
Come on, Tyler. We got a button for this.
Well, I didn't think we were doing this today.
We got a button.
Congratulations, Wanye. We had been talking about doing this on the podcast for a few days. I didn't think this was happening now, but
oh, that's what happens when I come. I'm an anarchist.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about what Chalmers wants to talk about.
I don't care about your plans. What is it? I saw the video. I hadn't had a chance to reach out to you because, like I said, we've all been busy.
Yeah.
But you're in fatherhood now, and pretty soon you'll find yourself in 5 years at a coach's clinic for 5.5 hours at the Meadows, and you'll be sitting there wanting to blow your brains out. And then you'll have to go on the ice with 12 40-year-old men and run through drills. So
I've always been, I won't say envious, because envious kind of has like a negative connotation to it, but people who have kids, I've always really, really wanted to have a kid, right? And this has been like a life goal of mine for a long time, and it's not easy to do, right? And I think there's a lot of people out there that like get hitched to people because they want to have kids, or they find themselves in bad situations where they're like, oh, maybe I didn't stay married, but I have my awesome kid and blah, blah, blah. And, like, I was really kind of leery about getting into a situation like that. So I've been able to have a son with, like, my friend in, like, a really cool arrangement where she really wanted to have a kid, I really wanted to have a kid, and I was like, well, why don't we see if we can get this done? And it took years, and it worked.
Man, it's a different time. It's a different time, and when you told me all about it, man, I couldn't be happier for you, dude. I was fucking ecstatic. And after seeing you, seeing you with your sister, I know how close you are with your sister and her kids, and just like seeing what you were the definition of bachelor for a long time, and pretty much just lived by your own time schedules, your own decrees and shit. And then you all of a sudden got a nephew, and like I saw Papa fucking Wanye, and it was a cool thing to see. And so to see that you get to do it for yourself now is just I'm pretty proud of you, man. I'm pretty happy for you.
Thanks, buddy. That's super nice of you. I'm really, really, really excited. It was a hell of a journey. Having a kid during a pandemic and all the twists and turns. Like, I spent a lot of time this year in the hospital going to doctor's appointments for him because it wasn't a straightforward proposition. And thankfully, everything's worked out a million miracles. But I feel for these parents that are in the healthcare system and the nurses and the doctors. Everybody's so fucking nice. And they're like so helpful and nice to you. I couldn't even believe what an experience it was, but it was fucking heavy duty. So he was born like September 18th, and he was like 5 weeks early, I think, 4 weeks early. And he was like 4 pounds, 10 ounces. And now he's past his original delivery date, and he's like 7 pounds, 4 ounces.
He's tough as hell.
Yeah.
Tough as balls. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lil Wanye.
You got an outdoor rink ready for him yet, or what?
Well, I don't know which way he wants to go. Maybe I got to get him a little laptop. I don't know, right? Like, he's not going to get a lick of athletic ability from me. Right? I don't know. I'm like his Kris Jenner. Whatever he wants to get into, I'll be like, oh, really? We want to be a paleontologist? Well, we're going to go to the goddamn Terrell Museum, and we're going to get an introduction.
You got to watch Friends from start to finish.
Perfect. Right? I'm jacked. I'm like real excited to be able to have a kid and just do what they want to do. And I don't want to make him like me all crazy and shit. I want him to be him.
And would you like it on the record that you did in fact want to name him after Connor McDavid?
Yeah, I wanted to name him. I thought that maybe he was going to come out when the Oilers were going to have the Cup Finals. Oh. And I was like, we should name him Connor Stanley. But the answer was no. So, it's probably best I don't get to make those types of decisions.
Well, I'm sorry if I hijacked this and made it like not exactly the way you wanted to do it.
Nobody. Talking about my friend who said that nice thing about me. This is exactly how I want to talk about it.
I love the video too. You too. If anybody hasn't seen it, you got to see this video. You two.
I got to put it out on the Nation. I got to put it out. Like I just put it out on Facebook for my real life.
Oh, I had it sent to me like immediately. And I was like,
no, our guy Josh made it. Me and Jay are in the video, and Bag Milk is our executive producer, and he helped me get a bunch of shit together. It's pretty funny. Like, it's good Wanye content. I just got to get it out.
Just let me know, man. Just send it my way. I'll blast it everywhere.
Sounds good to me. I won't have it on my Insta. That's the way she goes. My last Insta is funny, Jake, because I was like, I got to get a Twigs and Berry post up on my Insta. But I'm like, I haven't posted in like a month because I'm on paternity leave. I can't let my glorious return be like, get yourself a nutsack. But then I'm like, yes, I am. That's the life we've chosen.
It's great stuff. What's been, so for you now, you said the 18th, so it's been almost a month. What's been, I don't think difficult is the right word, but it's the word I'll use. What's been like the most difficult adjustment? Like
nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing. There's nothing about it that is one iota difficult.
Or do you find like, are you embracing the diapers, the whole thing, like all of that?
Yeah, man. It was wild. So like the day he was born, there was no fewer than 12 medical professionals in the room, right? And like because of COVID, I had to like stay outside, and they've like have me under like hardcore lockdown all year because pregnant ladies can't be exposed to this. And like gave me all these sheets I had to read and shit. And so when he was born, mom had to go and do her own recovery, and I got to go to the NIC ICU for little babies. And because you couldn't go between wards of the hospital because of COVID, they're like, Dad, we need you. And they put me in a room with him. And for the first like 10 hours of his life, he had all these cords strapped to him, and they laid him on my chest and like taped him to me basically with like a fabric bandage. And then one by one, they unplugged all these machines from him. And then by the end of the day, they were like, he could go home if he wanted to. Wow. This is like a record for an intensive care baby. He was out within like 14 hours.
That's crazy.
And I have to say, for anybody that's hasn't been a dad, like, if there is a day or two or three that you could live over with the exact same feeling over and over and over again, it's the 3 days after you have a child, because everything is gone in your life. Nothing matters. Everything is out the window. Work doesn't fucking matter. You don't even know where your cell phone is. And he got to lay there with that child on his chest. And I'm like, I'm a little bit of a softie, but those naps and those times are literally the best thing that I've ever had in my life. And to know that you got to go directly in there by yourself and just have that is like, man, I don't think I'm wrong in saying you'd live that day over for the rest of your life.
I said to the nurse, I was like, the best day of my life heretofore was Game 6 of the 2006 Stanley Cup Finals. Right? Went on this big rant about like Pisani and shit. I was like, guaranteed this is a better day, because like I'm sure a lot of parents, they're like, I don't think a lot of parents take birth for granted, and a lot of things can go wrong when a baby's like in development, right? But like with the instance of what we were going through, as recently as like a month prior to that, I didn't know if he was going to make it, right? So the whole time that we were pregnant, it wasn't like, oh, yay, set off fireworks and do reveals. It was like very grim-faced doctors telling us we'd see them next week, right? And so the relief I felt when he was out and he didn't have like a horn or some horrible thing, right? Like, I think that was the emotion, was just like supreme relief that like despite long odds, shit worked out. There's people in that NIC unit, man, one room over from us. They'd been there for 109 days. And like the way that the Misericordia is right now with lockdowns and shit, you're not even allowed to go to the cafeteria. So they've been literally like not allowed to talk to anybody, sealed in a little room for 109 days. And I was like knocking on the wall like Count of Monte Cristo, right? And like yelling and doing the thing. I was like, fuck, man, like this is really, I feel for these parents. Like it is a hell of a thing. So yeah, it was the greatest day of my life.
It's like when Joey and Chandler, or was it Joey and Ross, and they'd nap together? Remember?
Yeah. The best naps of their life.
That's all we've been doing.
Yeah, dude. Best nap of your life. Now, times that by like 10 when you got that little guy laying on you.
Oh,
anyways, yeah, I'm super proud of you, man. I'm super
Thanks,
pumped.
buddy.
And everybody, Wanye's a daddy.
Yeah.
Wanye is a dad. Little Wanye.
2020, man.
I'm really excited for people to see the video when it finally does go out, because it's fun, it's silly, it's good Wanye content, it's heartwarming, it's great. I've watched it a bunch of times. It's fun. Josh did a great job.
Great job.
It was a fun piece of content.
You get to see Wanye with just a mask and sunglasses on, so you get a better peek at him.
It's the biggest reveal Wanye's ever done.
Yeah, pretty close.
It was funny when we went to the hospital to film part of it the day before, right? And like we go there and then the security comes out and they're like, hey, you guys, get out of here. You're not allowed to film stuff. And like Nation Josh is orbiting around and we're doing all this stuff. And then the one guy looks and he's like, is this a Nation truck? We're like, yeah. They're like, huh. They like kind of walked and stood back and let us finish. I was like, this is amazing.
Cool.
What are the Oilers Nation guys doing filming at this hospital?
I'm coming to have my penis removed in the morning.
Well, Bag Milk, you're the only one with full on, like, don't even know how tall you are, what you're, anything now, eh? Like, what about that? Did you guys talk about that other dude?
The other Bag Milk? Yeah, we did. You missed a lot.
Wow.
I have a question, though. For this big announcement we just did here, are we going to call this episode Wanye is a Daddy? Or should I just like make an Instagram post that says like, huge announcement in the podcast, you have to listen to find out?
I think Wanye's big news. It's a little teaser or something like that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And I think I'll just put up like a black background with white text and be like, biggest announcement in show history, and just put that up on Insta.
This is the part where everybody gets to see how the baby's made. You know what I mean? You get it? See what I did there?
Well, so here's the thing. Here's like I have this article mostly written, but like you said, Chalmers, like you put your phone down, you don't care. That's really true. It's really weird. Like I heard people talk like that. I'm like, yeah, right. Like it isn't really that crazy. I literally sit there. We watched the entire Breaking Bad show from beginning to end.
You already done?
Yeah, man. I did it in like consecutive hours. I've been done.
Wow.
And I've saved all these shows that I didn't watch for when I had a kid, so I could stay at home in my mind. And like I've never seen Game of Thrones and shit, right? But I have this article mostly written, so I'll do like a quick audio version of my rant, and then I'll make sure I write it as an article. But like when we talk about "Hope Will Never Die" being the motto of the site, right? I think that that's an interesting thing because Lord knows we've needed hope for the last 10 years, and so I was thinking about like now that I have a kid, right? And one of my main directives in life is to make this guy into an Oilers fan, right? And trick him and like get him an Oilers hat and take him to games and let him eat popcorn and make sure we produce an Oilers fan. And I think that like making an Oilers fan isn't going to be talking about the power play or talking about how Peter Chiarelli didn't know what the fuck he was doing or anything like that. Like I want to show him like the highlights of being an Oilers fan, right? And like I'm going to show him like Ryan Smith, and I'm going to show him pictures of like Gretzky and them and explain to them when it's time. And I think it's like a really cool refresh as an Oilers fan to now think about like seeing it through your kids' eyes, right? And if you talk to the fans of a team, whether it's the Oilers or any team who are super fans, if you go back in their origin story, there's always an adult usually that they were like, oh, my mom and I, or my dad and I, or my grandpa and I watched games. That's why I love the Green Bay Packers or whatever it is. So I got to like rig life so that this kid loves the Oilers. And I'll be like, did they make the playoffs? Oh, of course, all the time. Of course they did. And then one day he'll be like, hey, I went and looked, and you told me the Oilers made the playoffs every single year from 2007 to 2023. I'll be like, oh, really? You looked that up? You know how to do that now? Okay, that's cool.
I thought a bit about what you said to me. The biggest Oilers fan I know, the last Oilers game that they had gone to, they probably drank 37 beers and don't remember leaving. And the next one that they potentially go to will be with their, like, 1-year-old son.
Yeah, man.
How cool is that?
Yeah. I found out about it at the Oilers game.
Oh, yes. That was it.
Yeah. I was at the game against Calgary where they shit-pumped them in the Battle of Alberta. And that's when I found out. And I found out, like, during the game because I was so drunk that my baby mama was like, I think you better pull your life together. You have information you need to process. I was like, who cares about anything? We're going to win 31-2. And then she told me, and I was like, holy fuck. And I stood up, and I haven't sat down in Rodgers' place since.
Will your next game be, no matter how old he is, taking him?
Yeah, man. I'm going to get him a giant hamster ball and pump oxygen in there and bring him in there and make sure he can go. Fuck.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be cool, man. It's going to be cool to watch, like, as he grows up, as you share your love of the Oilers with him, and hopefully he picks it up as well, because they should be good by then.
They've been great the whole time. Didn't you hear? In theory, they made the playoffs every year, man. Didn't you hear?
Yeah.
Of course. My mistake.
Yeah.
I'll be like, Neil Yakupov. I'm not familiar with that name. Somebody must have made that up.
Yeah.
He got traded
That's
again,
fan
which
fiction.
is your random Yakupov fact of the week.
Where is he
He
now?
had a hell of a play, though, the other day. Did you see that one, Tyler?
No, but I saw someone pointed out that the helmet stickers on his helmet don't match his jersey because he's been just like moved around so much. But no, I didn't see the play.
Yeah, he's a suitcase.
Where is he now?
I don't even
I'll
know what
look
the
it up.
team's called. Avantgarde, I think.
In the K?
Avant-Garde Omsk.
Maybe. That's probably wrong.
But he had a hell of a play. Yeah, avant-garde.
Didn't you guys get enough hockey talk while I was gone? That's kind of where I've been going.
We literally
I
didn't
want to
talk
talk
hockey. We were saving it for
I didn't
you.
want to. You guys didn't talk about like the draft and everything and all that
No.
crap.
Yeah.
We talked about how much we missed
episode
you.
is today.
No, we talked about how much. Yeah, I missed you guys too. So what else are we talking about?
Well, I just want to say it's hard to like the Wanye news here is so huge.
Yeah.
I don't want to transition off of it. Like
Wow.
I feel like we still haven't talked about it enough.
Wow. Well, I can, if you want, we can talk about whatever you want, whenever you want. I'm happy to talk about them. I can transition so that it doesn't anybody else taking my thunder. I'll tell you a new thing to talk about.
Okay.
What?
4 years ago today, my friends, was the Carolina Classic in Winnipeg.
I was going to say, I posted
Holy
a bunch
fuck.
of photos on the Nation's Instagram today from that day. Man, what a trip that was! It was a hell of a bus ride, but once we got there, it was fun. The team was great.
Illusion. Do you feel as though that's the same time of year as right now? I don't.
Government name,
No.
Tyler.
Shoot. Okay, 1 second.
Oh no, I didn't mean that way. I meant it like on.
Okay, well hold up.
I've
How
never
am I
watched
even
the
going to
rest of
edit
it.
this now?
We'll just
Well, good
delete
luck.
all of those.
You know everything I say is funny
Just
from a
delete the
TV
whole
show
thing.
or a movie.
Yeah.
I'm
But,
not
like,
going to delete it. It's going to be one long bleep.
Do you guys remember though how much fun it was. Just even the old timers game on day one was great. And then we went and partied at Pint Winnipeg, RIP, afterward. And then the next day, the 2 or 3 hour sun delay, which just gave us all the window to get absolutely buckled.
And the arena ran out of booze before the game started?
Drank the whole stadium out of beer.
Wait, you guys drove a nation bus from here to Winnipeg?
Yeah, there's no airport.
Well, you can't fly.
Yeah. The options were driving from Edmonton to Winnipeg or flying into Thunder Bay and then taking a bus. So
Winnipeg doesn't have an
fly
airport.
Out of Calgary, there is a direct flight to Brandon.
Yeah.
But then it's too complicated.
Yeah, we couldn't get the flights in order. But going back to it, my favorite is like I was posting photos and then other people were posting their photos. Like Mandrick posted that hilarious photo that I almost forgot about of Jay and Mandrick along with Mac T and Kelly Buckberger.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's a great photo.
Well, that was great. And I was in an Oilers onesie. And we're just shooting the shit at a beer tub.
The best.
The best.
And now look at us, boys. Hockey's canceled forever. We're not allowed to leave our houses.
And you had a kid.
Yeah.
And we have football, though. Don't forget football.
Oh, yeah, football.
Don't forget that I am leading the podcast in the Pick'em Chalmers. If you need lessons, just let me know. I can teach you how to bet on football.
Yeah, people are going to think that I'm not coming on here to this. I'm going to face the music for my awful couple weeks.
You missed the new way we're doing it, Chalmers. I don't know if you saw this, but Scott Hastings joins us Thursdays now, so he'll join us in like 5-10 minutes.
Okay.
And then we get him to give us 3 picks as well. So we're kind of doing like a beat the expert, go up against the expert kind of thing.
My lock of the week, I'm taking it first. Buffalo over the Jets.
Fuck.
Oh, yeah, congrats. Yeah, we really go out on a limb there.
Hey, do you want to win or do you not want to win?
Have you taken Buffalo before or anybody against the Jets yet?
No. I took KC over Buffalo on Monday.
You did take the Bills in week 2, bagged milk, but I like that Bills. I like that Bills minus 13 pick. I'm just gonna jump on my pick right now too because Bills was one of the 2 I had written down. Chiefs minus 9.5 against the Denver Broncos.
The Chiefs against the Broncos.
Yeah, not the Saints.
That's a good pick.
So, Jay Chalmers, if you need more time, wait because we're gonna get to Scott Hastings here in a second, and we'll do all our picks with Scott.
Can I have an NFL question, your Chuck? Give me one of them good ones.
You want a good? Who does Tom Brady play for now?
Oh, I know that. Giselle Bundchen.
That's good answer.
Fair enough, honestly.
Wrong answer.
Now I won the pick'em.
Do you know who Tom Brady plays for?
Yeah, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh, okay. You don't give yourself enough credit because you were like,
I know celebrity news.
Yeah, I guess that is a little bit of celebrity news.
Of course it is.
Wanye, while I still have you here with Jay, I know you said you're on paternity leave right now, but the Little Brick Outdoor Cafe, I saw my good friend Josh Clausen was sitting out at that the other day. Can you tell us a little bit more about what's going on with that?
You want me to talk about that?
Well, one of you two. I don't know. You're
sure,
both
I'll
Little
give
Brick
it
guys.
a shot. I'll give it a go. It's going to be a crazy winter, right? There's probably no indoor dining. And our beloved Little Brick is, like many places, an indoor dining establishment. So we went with our friends at EJH Events Limited, which is an awesome local tent company. So we're like, hey, how's your tent game? And they're like, yeah, you'd be amazed. There's no events. So we got a winter-rated hexadome tent, which is a super cool structure, and it's in the back of Little Brick now. So we have a winter patio, and we got some heaters, and we got some propane fire dealies done up. And so now we can seat probably 20, 25 people outdoors all winter in a quasi-warm environment.
How's it going so far?
Great. It's like the only thing positive to talk about. Jay's been on the news more times about this than Jeffrey Dahmer. Jay, you want to take it from there? That Jeffrey Dahmer transition piece?
Yeah, it's good. And Jeffrey Dahmer was known for winter patios. But yeah, so we got the tent, and then we also got a couple fire installations outside of the tent. So we got one where it's wood burning with Adirondack chairs you can sit around. We've also got mulled wine on the menu, so you can drink some hot libations and outside. It's been interesting, like COVID's caused some interesting issues or problems for restaurants, and our patio this summer was used quite heavily, and we're very thankful for that. And so we wanted to make sure that we could continue providing a safe outdoor experience and embrace the elements, which was always a strategy for Little Brick anyways, was to develop and build a winter patio. COVID kind of accelerated that plan. But, you know what, we just collectively, as you know, we are the North, and we need to like start acting like it and not like hiding from it. Winter doesn't go away, you know, so it's not just us that are doing things with our patios this winter. There's plenty of other awesome businesses doing the same. And I think, you know, with people's comfort levels to wanting to go out to seek entertainment, but wanting to do it in a safe space, I think this is a great time to start embracing the elements and start enjoying ourselves outside more. Like Chalmers, you're talking about having fires outside of your outdoor rink in your backyard. Amazing.
Oh, yeah.
We need to do more of that. So I'm really looking forward to this winter and being able to provide a warmer experience for Little Brick outside for a few reasons. It's adding to our culture, and we're also doing it initially out of necessity, so we can create a safe space for our customers. But really looking forward to see how it looks. So far, it's been getting a lot of crazy attention, like, which has just been so awesome. Like, to see Josh Clausen on the news doing the weather report, like, that's fucking awesome. Like, that's crazy.
You know what it reminds me of, JR? You remember, what's that ski hill that we always go to where you get halfway down the mountain and then there's that outdoor big fire pit and the little chalet to the right?
Jasper. That's Marmot.
That's Marmot?
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of. When I saw the two fire pits on Little Brick, I could picture Little Brick being like that.
Yeah.
Where, like, you just go inside, you grab a beer, like, you guys are obviously still serving off, like, beer.
You know we are, Chalmers. You know it.
I know it. And then, sit outside and, like, it's funny how it could be minus 10 in Edmonton and nobody wants to go outside, but it's minus 10 in Jasper, and people are outside all the time. Like, it's
they'll take the outside over the inside. So
I'd also, if you're listening to this and you want to check it out, go to Little Brick's Instagram, Little Brick YEG, and check out. There's a bunch of photos of the tents and the patio. It's cool. I love the heater, like the Little Brick. What would you even call that? It's like a little mini fireplace type thing from
it's like an outdoor fireplace. Yeah.
Did you guys invite Josh Clausen from CTV there?
No, they reached out to us. That's the crazy thing. Is that crazy? You know, we were kind of first to kind of set ours up, so we got a ton of attention. So every news outlet's picked this up in Edmonton. So like Global CBC, CTV, and then you know CTV's doubled down by coming and doing this, which is cool. And you know, for us, like it's helped us a lot. A lot of new people are coming down because of all this. Like, oh, I saw this on TV. I see you're trying to do something outside. This is cool. But like, this just breaks down to like us just being better Canadians and Edmontonians. Like, you go to Europe, it's minus 10. You're in Copenhagen, and you're walking down these streets, and all the patios are packed with people eating breakfast. And I'm like initially, I'm like, holy shit, how the hell do you even do that? Because you know, I'm just used to hibernating. But then it's kind of like, you look at it, you're like, why aren't we doing that? So this is going to be, COVID's going to, you know, provide some interesting things in terms of how we consume our city differently and start embracing it more 365 days a year. So super pumped. I can't wait till it's like minus 20 and I'm sitting on a hay bale in front of one of the fire pits and crushing a mulled wine.
Outside of like the necessity of having a place for people to go with everything that's going on, was that kind of like an inspiration for how it was set up? Was those trips to Europe where you could see like, oh, this might work in actual practice? Like, what went into the design of how it actually went? Did you have an idea, or was it just kind of flying by the seat of your pants?
We created a version of the idea. Like a Little Brick, because of its yard and vintage and everything, has to present it a little bit different than what we saw maybe in Copenhagen, because like you're walking down a main street and people are sitting on a patio, you know, outside of a 4-story building.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, Jay. In like northern countries, we saw, like, imagine White Ave, all the patios are full and it's the dead of winter.
Yeah,
we're like, what the fuck? You could do that?
Yeah, and they're all just under those like little like heaters, like those little like stand-up heaters. So and that's cool and that fits that purpose. But for us, it's like, no, like we want to create fires you can sit around, you know, and kind of use some natural elements. And yes, we have some gas burning things too. And then we also have the tent if you want to come into like a warm outdoor environment or a warmer outdoor environment that's like 8 or 10 degrees. And then you can take your gloves off and enjoy a cold beverage if you wanted. So it was just, we kind of looked at all that stuff and kind of figured out kind of what a Little Brick version of that is that kind of fits the brand of Little Brick and kind of the, the building that we occupy.
And then my boy Ed at EJH Tents, I was like, can you please help us? And he's like, yes, I'll help you with something. And then he hooked it up, and that tent is dope.
Yep.
Again, if you want to see it, I would check out Little Brick's Instagram, Little Brick Yeg on Instagram. Lots of photos. Check it out. Looks cool.
I drove by last night, creeping as I do, and Josh Clausen was leaving, and I waved at him enthusiastically, and he waved back, and I was like, a minute away, and was like, that must have been weird for him, because he has no idea who I am. I know who he is. I know what he's doing. He's just so famous that random assholes wave at him when they drive by.
We should.
He's a rapper.
I was gonna say he's an interesting.
I've
guy.
seen him rap.
Crazy.
I've seen him rap. He is unreal.
We should
Rap
get him
his
on the
ass off.
pod.
We should.
That'd be a good local celeb guest to have on.
I'm gonna have to sit out on that one.
Why?
Competitor with my wife.
Yeah,
yeah.
Edmonton TV beef.
They're not competitors.
Everyone's
They're all the
friends.
the
only
Illuminati.
local cable news stations in town.
Oh my
feel like
god,
they might
they're
be
all the
competitive a little
same
bit.
fraternity. They're all friends.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
We should get Aaron Chalmers on here without Chalmers and interview
Oh,
her.
God.
That would
About
actually be
Chalmers.
hilarious.
About
That would be
Chalmers.
a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah, we should.
How would a
If
podcast go with only the significant others on?
I got none, sucker.
Well, you could moderate it, Bagged Milk.
Oh, that'd be good. I would definitely love to moderate. I've got a lot of questions for your missus, your
Well, the squire's significant other and my significant other, they know each other well.
Yeah.
And Bagged Milk, yeah, your Remchuck would be new to the game for them.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'll
I can
send
see this
Wanye
all
Jr.
moderate.
in my stead. He's quite funny.
I was gonna say Wanye, send whoever you want.
Wanye Jr. in the house.
Oh yeah.
I'll interview him on the podcast when it comes time. I'll be like, what's your takes, 3-year-old Wanye Jr. on the penalty kill?
I'm already nervous because I feel like once he's 18, he'll take my job. He'll host episode 6009 of
You'll be
the Real
39
Life Pod.
by then. What do you care?
I'm still going to need this gig. I'm still
You'll be
going to want
my
to record
age.
real life.
That's terrifying. You'll be my age when my kid's your age.
That is funny. Technically speaking, I'm old enough to be the father of your child, and you're old enough to be my father.
What on earth?
No.
And yet, emotionally, I don't feel there's that big of a gap between us here, MJ. Maturity-wise, I don't feel there's a big spread. I think you're actually probably more mature than I am, to be honest.
I could not have a kid.
I'd be thankful to be adopted by any of you.
Oh, nah.
Thank you.
You could come play on my rink every day then, not just on weekends.
That would be
And
fun.
you could teach me how to do actual life skills, Chalmers. If you want a Facebook ad campaign, I'm your guy. But if you want me to put up drywall or some shit, I have no idea what's going on.
It's
I think that everybody should be taught how to be handy for their family's sake. That's
Oh, crap. Chalmers, you know I don't have it in me.
I know. I do know that.
I'm thinking about this hose thing I wrote down on a piece of paper. Hose, question mark? And when this is over, I have to call somebody.
I'll just come over and do it.
Hose, question mark? Question mark?
It's that time of the week. Whoa, there's a big ass fucking bird sitting on my balcony, and he's just looking at me. That's creepy, man. I don't like birds. Anyways, it's that time of the week where we're going to talk a little bit of sports betting. It's that time of the week where we trade Papa Wanye in for Scott Hastings. So, Wanye,
Peace
thank
out,
you.
my friend.
Bye, Papa Wanye.
Take care.
Bye, Dad.
Bye, Dad.
Dad.
Bring in Scott Hastings from OddsShark, oddshark.com. It's OddsShark.
Big props to Chalmers, though, by the way, for just crowbarring that out. Because we've been sitting on it.
Oh, well, we've been sitting on it because Wanye keeps saying he wants to talk about it. And the only way it was ever going to happen is if what Chalmers did what he did.
Yeah.
Well, I
the
didn't
only way it was going to
intend-
happen.
I did not intend. I thought that maybe you guys had talked about it already.
No, we
the
talked about there was an announcement and there was this or that. Like Wanye's stick saying he couldn't put it on Insta because it was 2 minutes long.
Yeah,
Claire,
send it to me. Yeah, I was going to send it to me. I'll put it up right now.
You know what's so funny about that, though? I bought it hook, line, and sinker. I didn't know you could You can do 2-minute videos?
Yeah, IGTV.
Yeah, IGTV.
Oh, God.
buddy.
So he's been, like, putting it off. So,
Yeah.
like,
He's been putting it off. That's what it is.
I just totally
He's been
screwed him. I'm
putting it
probably
off.
going to hear about this, aren't I?
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
Well, no. You're
No, it's good.
All right.
Cat's out of the bag. It needed to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
OddsShark.com, your spot for sports betting information. Become a smarter better with OddsShark. That's where we go. That's how we at least try to do well with our picks of the week, but it turns out the only one who's actually half decent at it is the man himself, Bagged Milk, the rookie, and there is Scott Hastings joining us on the show. Scott, before we get to football, I'm watching Chalmers scoop a Slurpee out with a paper straw. Are you a Slurpee in the winter kind of guy?
We don't actually have Slurpees on the East Coast, so I'm going to go with a no.
Hey, what do you mean? Like,
wow,
what, the corner stores just don't have Slurpees?
They have slushies, I guess, which is like maybe the same. But
when you go to
trash.
7-Eleven, what is there? There's no 7-Elevens out there?
Oh,
We have needs.
You have needs that aren't being met, my friend. This is unbelievable news. This is twice we've had breaking news on this podcast today.
There we go. What was the first?
Wanye had a baby.
Yeah, the guy who we
Secret
swap
baby.
out to bring you in had a baby.
Oh,
yeah, so
good.
Yeah, he's not actually here anymore. All
I'll
right.
tell you, whatever you do, Scott, if I ever talk to you privately, don't tell me anything.
The
'Cause
story.
I just let it out on this thing.
Yeah, we weren't. Wanye wasn't going to announce it. Then he was kind of tricked into it, I suppose. All right. Last week we did our pick'em. You went 2-1. You nailed the Denver New England under. Didn't hit on the New York Miami over. That's because the Jets just simply couldn't put up any sort of offense.
Oh my God, they're horrible.
And then you nailed the Chicago money line. The question I have for you is, after a week, how much time do you spend, or do you at all look into your losses? And is that something you suggest maybe other bettors do? You look at that game, and I could even go to my own as well, where I had Minnesota -4 points. Do you look into it all and go, okay, what did I miss here? Where were some areas that I should have seen, or what trends should I have been paying attention to?
Yeah, definitely a post-mortem is definitely a good idea, especially if you're going with specific stats and trends that you typically stand by. And sometimes it's just an aberration. For me, I bet on the Jets. I'm a complete idiot. They are an absolute dumpster fire. Oh, my Lord. I watched half of that game, and how is Joe Flacco still in the league? And furthermore, how is Joe Flacco over Sam Darnold? How bad is Sam Darnold? What is going on with this Jets organization? Gase, the whole crew, get rid of them. That was painful. It was real painful.
What do you think about the
Scott,
decision? Oh, yeah, go back, Milk.
I just want to brag, Scott, that I'm the rookie on the betting. I'm the rookie bettor on this podcast, and I am leading the pick'em.
Yeah.
With I'm 5-1 now.
You're 5-1 through 6 weeks.
Ooh, fire.
I'm basically money, Scott, is what I'm telling you. And I just want to tell you that you're teaching me how to beat these other guys who think they know what they're talking about.
The trick is just to not know anything and just blindly bet. Apparently That's what we do, right?
Exactly. Well, actually, you know what? You led right into my rookie betting question of the week. I love to bust balls when I get a bet, even though they're few and far between sometimes, but I'm doing well in the football pick'em. So some people DM me and say, listen, your problem is that you're betting on your favorites. What do you think about betting on your favorite team? Is it something to stay away from, or is it because you know them better than anyone that you may have insight that it makes sense to bet on your favorite team?
I think that's a good point. If you're a Dallas fan, do not bet on your favorite team. But I think there's a trick, though. You have to also recognize their weaknesses. So a lot of teams will be like, oh, yeah, Dallas is definitely going to beat Green Bay or something like that in Lambeau. And that's just not realistic. So you as much as you know the team, you got to not look at them with rose-colored glasses, because that's where a lot of people get mixed up. And they just think, well, of course, Dak Prescott and this and that. And then they just get blown out of the water. So, yes, I think betting on your favorite teams is fine, but just don't do it blindly because you love your team and you want them to win. Just, I guess, pick and choosing your spots. But totally, on every game that you feel comfortable with, or any favorite team, whatever, I don't think that should deter you.
So to piggyback on that, I know he says you got to know your team. The fact is what if you're a Cardinals fan like myself and they're just not a team that I can really figure out? they have a big win against San Francisco, but now they're playing Seattle this week, and it's a 1.5 point line. Like, that seems insane to me. And what do you think of them right now? What's going on with that?
Yeah, and I think that's a good point. There's also stay away teams. So for baseball, a couple of years ago, the Chicago Cubs, I could not make a bet on them to save my life. Probably went 0-20 betting on them throughout the season. They were absolute trash. So eventually guys just said, I'm not going to bet on a Chicago Cubs game for the rest of the season. So there are teams like that. I think the Bears are a tough one this year. For a lot of people, is they're 5-1, but many people don't believe that they're 5-1. So there can be tricky teams. If you get on them, it's great. If you don't get on them, it can be a train wreck and very aggravating. For me, I like the Cardinals. I don't know where you're getting +1.5. I saw 3.5. So you might find a better line elsewhere, but I do like the Cardinals.
You're right. I was wrong. It is 3.5.
Yeah,
there we go. Even I'm giving you points.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought.
Yeah, no, I do like the Cardinals this week, but they're one of those teams that they have a really sneaky defense, and then it's just a matter of, can their offense do enough to complement that defense and stay on the field? They need to. They're the type of team that needs to stay on the field, or they're in trouble.
Scott, before we get into your Week 7 picks, or all of our Week 7 picks, I should say, what did you think of the Dolphins' decision to go with Tua Tagovailoa over Ryan Fitzpatrick, and how is that going to affect their betting line when they come back to play the Rams off their bye?
So I'm one of those fools, probably the one of 8 people, maybe 8-9 people that watched that Jets-Dolphins game through and through last week, because I apparently hate myself. And Tua came in the final 2 minutes of the game, 2 minutes and 30. I think he handed it off, 2-minute warning. He made 3 passes that, again, it's the Jets, so who cares? He looked good, I must say. I liked Tua when he played for Alabama. I did not like that he went 5th overall from a guy that had his hip bone removed from the socket. They put a cap on it and put it back in. That scared the crap out of me for a guy that's getting 5th overall pick or 4th overall, whatever it was. I think Tua's going to do just fine. I really do. I think Myles Gaskin, the emergence of Myles Gaskin in their running back, of course, allows them to go to Tua without much of a threat, because in worst case scenario, can hand it off because he's been running the ball so well, and that opens up areas that Tua can throw the ball. I think he'll be just fine, and he's probably been getting reps with the first team in practice, no doubt in my mind.
But as for the line with that, do you think that, because Ryan Fitzpatrick, he wasn't playing ball that bad, and we all know that Fitzpatrick can be like boom or bust, and I heard some pretty interesting, I don't know if anybody saw his interview today, but he basically came out, and I know he's a good team guy and a good mentor, but he basically said that he was heartbroken and that his day today was going to consist of him having an hour-and-a-half Zoom meeting with the guy that fired him and then having to sit in a room for 9 hours with his replacement. And he's just like, it's heartbreaking. I want what's best for the kid, but this is my life too, And
yeah.
So what about the line though for Fitzpatrick and Tua? Do you think that line even do you think they look at it different?
It's hard to say. I think so. I'm thinking about Joe Burrow, who of course was the first quarterback off the books, and I believe the Bengals were favored, or it was a tight line in Week 1. I think I actually have it here. I do. Yeah, hold on. Week 1, Cincinnati. I don't have the line. Cincinnati. Oh, this is terrible podcasting. I apologize.
Who'd they play?
Cincinnati, they were at home to the Chargers. They were 3.5-point underdogs.
Okay.
So that would, if you had gone last year, the Bengals would have been 6-point underdogs. So I think the line will probably be the same. In fact, they'll probably juice it a little bit for people that may have been sleeping on Fitzpatrick and what the Dolphins have been doing this year. And they may give a little love because Tua, he's the new thing. He's an Alabama quarterback. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them maybe juiced up a couple points more than they should be. But I definitely think he can live up to that line.
Interesting stuff. Scott Hastings from OddsShark joining us on the Real Life Podcast. Let's get to our pick'em here, because I know there's going to be some conversation that comes from it. Bagged Milk early in the pod just jumped right out, said he's taking Bills -13 against the Jets, did not give anyone else a chance to pick them. I quickly followed it up and said I'm taking the Chiefs -9.5, partially because I'm just so pissed off at Denver for ruining a couple nice parlays I had last weekend. But I think KC, like after what they did they put up 400 and some yards against the Bills and only got 23 points and only won by 9. And I'm a Bills fan. I was surprised the Bills kept it that close. I think KC could really blow out Denver in Denver. So I'm taking them there. Jay, Chalmers, do you guys want to give your picks quickly here before we get to Scott's?
Sure, I'll go first. I'm thinking that the Green Bay Packers are going to bounce back, and that they are And so my pick is the Green Bay Packers minus 3.5 against the Houston Texans. I know the Texans looked good this week. They put up a lot of points. The Packers did not, but I think that was a one-off, and I think they're going to come back this week.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers will definitely redeem himself after last week for sure. I had him as my fantasy QB. He got 3 points.
Yeah, me too.
I had Juju, OBJ, and Aaron Rodgers. I think collectively the three of them put up like 6 points, 7 points. Oh, it was horrific. But yes, I like your bet, Chalmers. I like it a lot.
Thank you.
So I learned something. Well, I'm learning a lot of things as we do this. Don't bet with your heart, but then sometimes bet with your heart. But normally try to put some research into it. But also, don't bet against Scott Hastings. I did that last week. I chose Carolina over his Bears, and I lost. I believed in Teddy Bridgewater. I did. And I paid the price. So, having said all that, I'm sorry. I got to go back to my Brownies. They looked horrific last week.
Not bad bet.
They always bounce back good. They're playing Cincinnati, and they only have to spot them 3.5 points. Like, that to me is a walk in the park. Baker's going off. OBJ is going to be used as a weapon again, just like he was against Dallas, and we're going to see a victory here.
So
it's just weird that you always pick like not great teams. Like usually when you want to bet on the teams that look really good, and the Browns have looked good, but they've looked bad. And I know that the Packers didn't look great, but we know they're the Packers.
Chalmers, they're the Browns. Like,
they're
a loaded gun,
yeah,
and they're a loaded weapon. They just their aim is still a little bit off, but as they get more reps, they're gonna hit the target.
A big divisional clash.
The Battle of Ohio. They're gonna step up.
The 2018 preseason Super Bowl winners, right?
Yeah,
that's right.
Last week in our pick, Bag Milk was the only one who got one right. We went 1-3. That brings our record on the year to 12-2. Before we get to your pick, Scott, so we got ours are Packers minus 3.5, Chiefs minus 9.5, Browns minus 3.5, Bills minus 13. Is there one line there that you like, and one of us who you're looking at going, I wouldn't do that?
I'm actually on board with all of those, so that's scary. That looks like an 0-4 week, fellas. I'm pounding the Bengals now 3.5 all day. No, I'm just kidding. I actually am on board with all those, so I can't really say much, and I won't go against any of you guys this week.
What are your 3 picks then? You went 2-1 last week, and where are you going now?
Okay, let's go for a 3-0 this week. The first one I like is the over in the Chargers and Jaguars game. Gardner Minshew has these games every once in a while where he slings the rock around, and I love Justin Herbert. He's been slinging it, and lots of fun, and it's exciting to see the Chargers. Their defense scares me a little bit on an over, but I think that line. Let me grab this right quick. Line's at 49, so let's go for 50 or more. The second pick I like is for tonight. It's a Thursday nighter, and I'm all over the Eagles. I'm not impressed that the Giants beat Washington last week. Congrats. Everyone beats Washington. Us 4, or 5 people, I guess it is, throw 7 of us, and we can take down Washington ourselves. So I like the Eagles minus 4.5. And my other one, I'm going with Chalmers' team right there. I love the Cardinals plus 3.5. I wouldn't be surprised if they win outright, but I'll take them plus 3.5. I just think they're just one of these scrappy teams that is going to get it done, and I think they'll be able to move the ball effectively against that Seattle defense. So, yeah, I like the Cards plus 3.5.
I'm blanking on the safety. What's the little safety's name for the Cardinals? Do you remember?
Patterson?
No.
The rookie.
No, he's a corner, right?
Oh yeah.
The rookie. The rookie.
I forget it.
Corner. Okay,
I don't know.
Never mind. But okay, so you like the Cardinals just eat like plus 3.5, eh?
Yeah, I do. And I may sprinkle on the money line because if you're giving me 3.5, you might as well just man up and let's go for the full Monty, if you will.
And about your Washington comment, like, it's a pick'em right now with Dallas. Has Dallas become that bad?
Oh man,
because of no Dak Prescott. Like, is it? Are they really?
Oh yeah,
one of the worst teams in the NFL.
I was thinking about Washington. I meant the Giants, of course. The Giants are also horrible for beating Washington. But yes, I don't. That line is fishy as all heck to me. You would think that Dallas could just roll them, but Andy Dalton is Andy Dalton, and I guess that scares a lot of people off. And that defense is garbage. And I'm a Dallas fan. I'm a big Dallas fan, but that defense right now. It was good to see Leighton Vander Esch back out there. That was a big help on defense, but there's a lot going wrong with that Dallas team. The fact that it's a pick'em, if I wasn't thinking, I would just pound Dallas, but I can't. I can't bet on them. They're 0-6 against the spread, tying them with the New York Jets this year. And if you're tied with the Jets for anything, that's a bad omen. So maybe Washington's the play to make. It's a stay away for me.
The safety's name for the Arizona Cardinals, a player to watch, Buda Baker.
I was going to say Booyah Baker or something like that.
Buda Baker.
He had an incredible game last week.
He is electric. He's awesome.
Scott, before we let you go, just real quick here, UFC this weekend, the big ones, Khabib, Gaethje. Who you got? What are some good bets? Maybe we can look at it. UFC 254, I believe.
Correct. Yeah. No. So the line for Gaethje Khabib is minus 335. I believe I saw this afternoon with Gaethje come back at 250. So the money line, Khabib should win this fight. I think he's just got so many more intangibles. And one of the things that is noteworthy about Gaethje is apparently he doesn't train a lot in his jiu-jitsu game. No doubt in my mind, at some point in the fight, Khabib will get his back. And if you got his back against a guy that doesn't train jiu-jitsu, he will get subbed, just like Poirier and Conor McGregor did. So I like Khabib by submission is about plus 160. One of the underdogs I like in this card is a newcomer. I can't even say her, Shakarova. She's making her debut. She's from Uzbekistan, I believe. Okay. So going out on a limb here, but she's about plus 180, and I really like her kicks. And she's a really good wrestler, and she's really adapted her game. She's making her UFC debut against Lauren Murphy. So I believe that's the third fight of the main card. So it's going to be a great card, but those are two little plus money picks for you.
Bright and early, breakfast, beers, and UFC. Why not? Scott Hastings, always appreciate your time, man.
Take care, guys, and good luck this weekend. And go Bengals, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Stop it, Scott.
OddsSharks.com. That's Scott Hastings. Head there, UFC, NFL, whatever it is you bet on. Get smarter. Use the information at OddsShark.com. That UFC fight, I'm going to be tuning into that. That should be a good one. Anywho.
Yeah.
Always
it's
an education.
a lot of money to pay for one fight. Like, do you watch all the fights, or do you just watch, like, the last two or three?
I'm not going to pay for it.
Oh, you're going to go somewhere.
I'm going to stream it.
Oh, wow. All right. Okay. I see you.
All I really want to watch is Khabib Gaethje. So yeah, I'm not going to pay for that. If I was a diehard UFC fan and I wanted to watch all the fights, I'd pay for it, but I'm not going to pay for the one fight. I'll stream it somewhere.
Hey, speaking of, I see you, Cody. Are we going to talk Big Brother?
Fuck, we've gone so long already. We're like an hour 10 into the pod.
We're like in
running away with it.
Yeah.
We're down to the final four and potentially final three by the next week. And
final three, you'll be final three after tonight.
Yeah,
after tonight. Yeah. Well, they fucked up the schedule. I don't know anymore. I just watched. But yeah, okay. We'll talk about it next
Monday.
week.
Monday we'll get into it. We have a guest on Monday too, but we'll talk a little Big Brother. Bag Milk, you're muted.
I actually forgot it was on last night because this season has just gotten so boring. I've stopped caring.
Yeah, I didn't watch last night's either, so I don't know yet.
Yeah, I think it's horribly boring.
It's just annoying.
Nobody wants to. Chalmers, you have to agree. This is Cody's win to lose.
Yes. So what I did notice was last week, I swear to God, they did that luxury contest simply to have something to do because nobody's fighting, nobody's talking.
It's boring.
There's living.
Every time anyone does anything, and now we're getting looped into talking Big Brother late in the pod, but the thing that's annoying me is like Enzo makes a great play staying away from Christmas and Cody in that night competition and hiding around and just sort of lurking on his own. And, oh, what's he doing? He wasn't thinking about me.
Didn't help me.
Yeah,
and then
we gotta get Christmas out.
Nicole's like, I finally see Enzo's, real cards. He's selfish. He's playing for himself. And it's like, it's Final fucking Four. Yeah. No shit. God. And everyone in this season, like, as soon as something doesn't go their way, they're like, oh, I thought this was a team. Like, I thought we were working together. And it's like, holy fuck, win a competition for yourself and shut up.
I'm just riding this out till the end.
Yeah.
I'm riding it out till the end till we get a winner. And then
Big Brother Canada should be better.
Always is.
Yeah. All right.
No, it isn't.
Oh, you.
In terms of drama,
watch it for the first time.
All right, guys. Thanks for giving me an hour of your time. Hour 10 of your time. It was a long pod, but when you have Scott Hastings, that's usually what we do. It was a good chat. Shout out to you guys. Thanks. Talk on Monday.
Bet on bag milk.
Bet on bagged milk. Fade your Remcheck. This has been episode 224 of the Real Life Podcast. Don't forget Oodle Noodle. That's your spot. You don't want to cook on the weekend. Maybe you woke up early to watch UFC. You're a little drunk by 1 o'clock. Order in some Oodle Noodle. Maybe you want to eat some Sunday while you watch football. Oodle Noodle is your spot. Also, our friends, twigandberries.ca. Get your Christmas shopping or buy yourself a treat. Use the promo code NATION15 for 15% off your order. We will be back on Monday. Thanks for listening to the Real Life Podcast.
Great job on making it through the entire hour of the Real Life Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcast from.